I've decided to try and make my own disc sander, and the reason why I'm going to make my own rather than buy one is in the stores, even the cheap ones are around $100. Good ones are much more than that, and really all a disc sander is a motor with whatever disc you want to attach to it, and a plate at 90 degrees usually. Sometimes it's adjustable to the disc itself, and it's pretty basic, and I figured I could make it myself. So here are the two motors that I have that are probably the best candidates, and I think both of them are underpowered, but I'm going to go with this one. This was from an old furnace blower. It's GE, it's a single phase, and when you turn it off you can hear that tick. It's 1/3 horsepower, and that's the two important things are the horsepower and the RPMs. It's 1725 RPMs, which is good, but it's only 1/3 horsepower, and I think a good disc sander should probably be around a half or a full horsepower. The second thing is the size of the disc itself. I'm gonna make this a 12-inch disc sander, 12-inch diameter, and then basically all you're doing is mounting the motor onto a plate. I'm going to use just a regular board, and the disc itself, I've seen some people make it out of aluminum and mill it on a lathe or something like that. I don't have any of that. I've been looking for a piece of aluminum, but I don't think I'm going to find one. So I'm just going to use melamine, just a piece of board. It's particle board. It's 3/4 inch thick. It's pretty heavy. I'm going to mount that to the end of the drive shaft as best I can at 90 degrees. And the fence itself, I'm not going to make it adjustable. Some people make it so that you can tip it down and sand at angles. I don't see myself having to do that, so I'm just going to make it a fixed 90-degree shelf. So I'm going to start with this motor. I'm going to make the disc first, see how high the motor will have to be off the table to clear the disc, and build the frame out from there. Here's how I'm going to draw the circle. I just took a piece of plastic and I measured 6, and I actually did a 6 1/8 because I'm going to do a little round over on the edge of the board. And I drilled a hole and I left the bit in there to hold this in, and I'm just going to take a pencil and let the jig do the work and just work my way around. I'm going to do it again with a Sharpie just so I can really see that line. Well, like I said earlier, I think the toughest part is going to be mounting this to the drive shaft, and I have this pulley that's got a lock on it that as you tighten it, it locks down, and that fits on here really well. And I had to drill this part out. I'm not sure what this is from, but I drilled out the center so that fits on there. I'm going to weld these two in place, and then this will give me a mounting point that I can attach onto this plate here. It's not ideal. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to make another larger housing that will have 4 mounting holes. I was going to try something like this. This actually fits on there well, and maybe I could mount it to that and have 4 different mounting points, but I'm going to try this first. If the 2 bolts or screws, whatever I use, don't work. After thinking some more about this, I'm not sure that this small surface area mount will work. Attaching it there. I was planning on welding it together on that, but I don't know if that's going to hold when I'm putting force on either ends of this. I think it might wobble. So I'm going to try welding this plate on, and if necessary I can weld a larger ring to give it more surface area to prevent it from bowing as I'm sanding on these edges. So I've been trying different scraps of wood to get to determine what height the motor needs to be off this platform. This is what I'm going to use as the base. And if I line this up with the center of the hole to the drive shaft, you can see I have about 1 inch, which is plenty. Now the fence, I want to be just at the center line, or maybe a little bit below. So I might use a board like this, a 2x6 on its end, and I'll chop these down to the same height so that when that melamine board is sitting on it, it should be right at about the center line. Well, here's where I'm at with the belt sander. Everything's dry fit. I don't have anything locked down. I'm going to have 2x4s and melamine for the surface, the melamine wheel that's locked in. I'm having it sit on 2x4s, or 2x6s, sorry. And let me show you how the motor runs. I'm going to quickly turn it on. So you can see spinning that board, there's plenty of power. Here's the countersunk holes and the screw that's flush to the surface. And I'm drilling the holes for the motor mount. I'm going to drill them on a little bit of an angle like this so that I can get the screws in because the motor kind of sticks out a little. Here's another thing I was thinking about yesterday, and this is the center line. I want to always sand on this side since it's rotating counterclockwise. I'm going to put maybe something here with an arrow saying sand here, just so everyone knows, and I'm reminded not to sand over here or it'll shoot it off to the left when it hits the wheel. The motor will sit just like that. So, okay, this is the first test run for the motor. I have a switch in the back, and we'll see how. I know it's going to vibrate because it's not been balanced. I can see it off a little, but I just want to see how it runs. It's quite a bit out of balance right now, but... So I just got done spending about 45 minutes trying to balance this wheel out, and I've come to the conclusion that it's not going to be perfect. Pretty good. I've been using different techniques. That's it at full speed. It seems pretty solid there, but you can listen as So the wheel's not perfectly round. I'm going to work on that some more, but the more important thing is that it's balanced, and there was still a little bit of a wave to it, and I was trying to straighten that out, but I'm going to see how it is now. I'm going to put the fence on with some sandpaper and see if it's usable. Here's the sandpaper I got. It was $5 at Harbor Freight. It's the only 12-inch sandpaper they had was 120 grit. I wish it was 80 grit, but I'm going to peel back halfway. Try to center it as best I can on here. But we'll see. Well, I just had my first test run of the disc sander, and it's better. It's more balanced now than it was. I guess it's just something I'm going to have to work on. I'm going to try to balance that wheel a little better, but since it's metal and wood and I'm bolting it together, there's going to be some play, and where I welded that washer to the ring, it's not perfect, and I think that's where the vibration and off balance is coming from. Well, here's the finished disc sander. It turned out as good, if not better, than I thought it would. The hardest part about this has been the coupling between the shaft on the motor and the disc. You can see a little bit when the wheel spins. It's a little bit out of wobble, but it's not a big deal for what I use it. The table's not adjustable. It's just at 90 degrees. Painted everything except the melamine board here. I have an on-off switch on the back, and let me show you how it works. It's actually pretty stable once it gets up to speed, and it's pretty quiet, and you always got to use it on this side. So it does a pretty good job of taking boards down.